Hello everyone, and welcome back to Remains to be Seen. These are a couple of smaller episodes where we will introduce you to our players and the characters you will meet in the actual episodes. And right now we are here with
me, Rick Dembrayan. I'm glad to be here.
It's so funny to hear your name in English.
Yeah, it's you should hear English speakers try to pronounce it. Overall they're trying, so that's what I appreciate. But
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, Rick, tell us a bit about yourself.
So by day I'm a software engineer. Do the little typing on the keyboard and creating stuff, mostly web development. And all the time I'm a nerd. I enjoy board games. Also like programming for myself. It's fun. I'm also a big dad joke guy, so I'll be bothering you with that a lot, Ro. Other person.
All of us.
Did it again.
All of us.
Everyone
Listeners.
will be bothered by it. Definitely.
You will now continue to hear dad jokes from Rick every single episode.
Yes, very much so. And I tried to make that a little bit, or implement that a little bit in my character. So you'll see that a bit as well.
Yeah, because you are also, next to all the stuff that you do, you are going to be making the video content for us once that will be released, whenever that is. If that already happened at the point that you hear this, probably not, but
we'll see when that happens. But yeah, I'll be doing that, some of the editing. Yep.
Yeah, and being our backup producer for everything. So that's very excited to have you here. So tell us a bit about your character.
So my character is named Pierre Ardoise. He is a dwarf. He's got a pretty tiny stature at from the top of my head that's 1.37 meters. He's a tiny guy. Yeah, absolutely tiny. And for the feet people, it's 4.5 feet, around about. It's
Yes, for the feet people.
Tiny. For the people that like feet, absolutely. So he's got a pretty small stature. Pierre wears pretty standard clothing, pretty civilian clothing. He's got this shirt and it never gets dirty somehow.
I forgot that you had that. Oh, that's gonna be so funny.
Yeah, that's like my favorite little item here.
Yeah.
the armor of gleaming, but I applied it on the clothes that he wears.
Yeah,
so
he's
just brushing it off.
Oh, it's gonna be so good. What an item to have.
Yeah, so he'll always be wearing like a little belt with some masonry tools because he is a mason by trade. He's done that for a long time, as he's at the moment 83 years old.
I think one of the oldest characters that we're going to have.
Oh, okay. Well,
we'll find out.
Then I'll be the oldest. The old grandpa, yeah. But aside from masonry, he's also a little bit of a part-time adventurer. He's been around the block a bit. He's been to Norway, Spain, Greece. Yeah, he's been around.
Because Pierre is originally from France, right?
Yeah, he's from France, specifically more near the bottom, Lyon, near the French Alps, basically. But the closest big city is Lyon.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. So we have a bit of a improv question for you. And again, these aren't the nicest ones, but who knows? So, Pierre Ardoise, was all the pain you suffered worth it?
I'd say it's worth it. Anything to protect them.
Amazing. Amazing. So to get a little bit back to your character, because you said you were going to make dad jokes.
Yeah.
Is your character also a dad then?
Oh, yeah, he absolutely is. He's got 3 lovely kids. He loves them all to bits. I'll tell you a bit about them. So first of all, we got the oldest. That's Azure. She's a mechanical engineer. She has a lot of dedication for her craft, and Pierre has a bit of a hard time relating to her because, they kind of got different languages of creation, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Celeste. She is a chef and recently got promoted to head chef in a restaurant based in Lyon. He's really proud of her, and she's also kind of the peacekeeper in the of the kids when the oldest and the youngest fight, which introduces you to Kelsey. They are Pierre's peer in stonemasonry. Pierre and Kelsey, they kind of work together in Pierre's family-owned masonry. And they really got the knack of it quite early on. And what they also got the knack of is being stubborn, like Pierre.
Interesting. Now, let's go look at some of the mechanics of your character, because you are playing a dwarf.
I am playing a dwarf.
You are playing a dwarf, yeah. What are the things that you get for being a dwarf? Within another reminder, we're using the 2024 rule set.
All right. So he specifically is a dwarf from the mountains. He lives in an underground city, and he's got dark vision up to 120 feet. Don't know what that is in meters. Not going to convert it right now. You don't know either. No.
No, I genuinely would have no idea. I think we're using mostly the feet if we ever need them for battles and stuff. Because it's just easier.
Yeah, I mean, D&D is completely based around that. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He's also got Dwarven Resilience, which gives him resistance on poison damage, which is nice.
Because that also means you have advantage on saving throws, right? For the poison condition?
Yes, to avoid the poison condition, yeah.
Nice.
Or end the poison condition, yeah. He's also got toughness, so he's got hit points that increase by 1 every level, basically. So he should have a good amount of health.
You are chunky.
I am a bit chunky. 27 HP from the top of my head. Yes, 27.
And I think you also have stone cunning?
Yeah. That one's quite interesting. It basically allows me to have tremor sense, and I believe that means that I can kind of feel through the earth, as it were. Kind of like Toph from the Avatar, right?
Yo, that's so cool, and that's totally not gonna break me. No, totally not.
I like this one because it specifically also kind of fits with my subclass, which we'll get into later. So
yeah, because what class are you playing again? You are playing
a monk. So he is a small martial artist. Yeah.
Ooh, very interesting. Let's go a bit through your character sheet, because what are your ability scores for the monk?
So Pierre has got a +0 in strength. +0.
Amazing.
Yeah. So strong. Look at his muscles.
He's got big muscles.
Yeah, such big muscles. But he makes up for that in dexterity. He's got a +4 in that.
Nice.
And monks do mainly attack with dexterity, so that's why he's pretty dexterous. He's got a constitution of +2, intelligence of 1, a wisdom of +1, and charisma of +0.
We love a charisma 10 character. We love it. It's gonna be great. And what are your proficiencies in saving throws and your skills?
My proficiencies are, of course, in Dex again, and Wisdom for saving throws. As for skills, he's proficient in Acrobatics, Insight, Investigation, and Persuasion.
Nice, because you're playing a monk, and monks are very different when it comes to, like, a lot of classes in D&D are mainly focused on melee, range, or spell attacks. These are melee, but not in the melee stuff that normally happens. It's very much a lot of unarmed strikes, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. The way monks work is basically they thrive in unarmored and unarmed combat. So he doesn't really wear any weapons around. He uses his fisticuffs, to get a lot of its attacks done. And with the monk class also comes the bonus action of doing an unarmed strike. So I can at least perform 2 unarmed strikes in 1 turn.
Which is quite insane because at level 3, no one can do multiple attacks, and you are the one that's just like, haha, I will.
Yep, and I believe that's gonna get even worse in higher levels.
It is. It very much is.
All the crunchy numbers. Are you excited for that?
I'm so excited for the crunchy numbers. I'm so not excited for my babies to all die because of someone just punching them in the face.
I mean, he's not so tall that he will reach the face.
You don't know how tall the creatures are.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. If they're tiny as well, then sure.
Maybe
okay.
they're tiny. I don't know yet.
Maybe he'll just do a little jump and then hit him in the face.
Yeah,
he'll just have to jump to reach them.
For real. We keep saying they're tiny, but they do still count in the medium sizes in official D&D terms because they're very hefty. Is that the right word? They are a sturdy looking build, which still makes them a medium sized creature instead of a small sized creature. Compact. They're very compact.
Yeah. That's a good way to describe them.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Oh, I love dwarves. Dwarves are amazing. Because let's go a bit throughout the monk class features, because right now you what do you all have for being a monk?
So for being a monk, you as I mentioned before, like you get a bonus unarmed strike, which is incredibly nice, and that's already at the first level. You also get a martial die, which you can roll instead of the normal damage for an unarmed strike or a monk weapon, which in my case is still 1d6, I believe.
Yeah, 1d6 plus your dexterity modifier.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. But that should increase as my level does. I also perform attacks with dexterity, so that's why my dexterity is so insane for a level 3 build. He also is able to do his saves with dexterity, I believe, instead of strength.
Yes.
Yeah. He also thrives on unarmored combat, so he, by default, has a high AC, even though he doesn't wear any armor. He just wears his casual clothes, his
Very
armor
nice.
of gleaming.
Yeah, because what is your armor class again? Right now?
I believe 15?
15 without armor is nice.
15 without armor, yes.
Nice.
So he's going to be very much a frontline character, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Is his health pretty high for a level 3 character as well?
27 is pretty nice. Pretty good for like the D8 stuff, yeah. Because you already, like, your max with 3d8 is already 24. You have an average constitution, we use the average hit dice, you have the added hit points from your dwarfness, I guess.
The dwarfness, yes.
I don't know how else to call it. What is the feat called again? Dwarven toughness, that's what it is.
Yes.
But no, you also have monk focus, right?
That's correct. And with the monk focus, it allows me to. I'll explain how much monk focus I have first. Monks get a focus point each level. So mine is at the moment 3. And I can expend those focus points to get particular perks during my strikes or other actions during combat. They refresh every rest, so both short rest and long rest, they are reset, and I got the full pull again. Yeah, which is incredibly nice.
I'm never gonna let you guys rest ever. Ever. No, I'm joking.
That's very mean. He needs his naps.
I'm a very mean DM.
Come on, he's a bit of age. He needs some good rest.
For a dwarf?
For a dwarf, he's not of age, but like
yeah, I know.
But for human characters, he definitely.
For human characters, he's an old man. Yes.
He's an old man. Yes.
He's an old man.
But I can expend my focus points for stuff like Flurry of Blows, which means I can make 2 unarmed strikes, not unarmored, 2 unarmed strikes as a bonus action. So technically, I can just do 2 times Flurry of Blows and do 4 unarmored strikes.
I already regret having you as a monk in here. You are going to destroy everything.
Oh yes, I absolutely am. Your little minions don't know what is coming.
Oh, they do. Oh, they so do.
He's also got patient defense, which means he can disengage as a bonus action, or, and this is where the focus point comes in, he can disengage and dodge as a bonus action. So I can expend 1 focus point for both of those. Aside from that, he's also got Step of Wind, which means he can dash as a bonus action. So he's going to be dashing towards your minions.
I'm going to be so annoyed at you.
And with that one, you can also expend a focus point to disengage and dash at the same time. And also my jump distance is doubled.
Oh, monks are insane.
Yep, incredibly dexterous, and I love it.
I
a
love
little dwarven guy just dashing towards you.
Yeah, the player in me loves a monk. The dungeon master in me hates them.
Oh, you're gonna hate him, all right?
Oh, I'm gonna hate him.
He's also able to move 10 feet more with his unarmored movement. So if he's not wearing any armor or wielding a shield, he'll be able to move a lot quicker.
Because your speed right now is
40 feet. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And with that dash, you can just engage incredibly quickly to other enemies.
Yep.
It's just gonna be jumping around.
Oh, God. Oh, I can already see it happening. Oh, it's going to be really fun. It's going to be really fun to see Pierre actually working like that.
Yes. He's also got uncanny metabolism, which means that when I roll initiative, once per long rest, I can do this, I regain all focus points. So if I just got out of combat, I expended all my focus point, he is exhausted, you can just regain it on an initiative. Oh, forgot to mention, he can he can roll his martial die and regain hit points as well. Are you happy to have a monk, Ro?
Oh, listeners, if you could only see my face at this point. Oh,
He's
I'm
so done with me
Pierre.
already.
I'm so done with everyone already. But it's gonna be really fun.
Yes. I've got the most what's the expression called again? The most shit-eating grin on my face right now.
Yep. Yep. I'm gonna be so annoyed at you, and I cannot wait. It's gonna be really funny.
Yes.
And your deflective or deflect attacks?
Yeah, so with his deflect attack, he can basically use a reaction and reduce the damage from any incoming piercing, bludgeoning, or slashing attack, which is incredibly nice. And I can redirect it. So if it reaches 0 damage, I can basically redirect it with a focus point towards any other creature. I believe for ranged attacks, the range is a bit longer, but for normal strikes, it is just against the creature itself.
So if you do so, you choose a creature you can see within 5 feet of you if the attack was a melee attack, and if it's a ranged attack, it is 60 feet.
Oh, yes. Just imagine getting an arrow redirected towards your face.
Oh, that's going to be so good. That is such a good trait to have. Definitely at level 3 already.
Oh, I am going to make use of that.
Yeah, you are. I know you are. Because what is the subclass that you chose for Pierre?
My subclass is Warrior of the Elements. So, like I mentioned before, like the little dwarven tremor sense kind of makes sense with this one, because he's very in tune with his elements, you know? Avatar style.
Very Avatar style.
Yeah, so the Warrior of the Elements gives me this elemental attunement, and at level 3, I can basically have an extended reach with my unarmored strikes, which is absolutely insane. It increases it by 10 feet, which is just supreme. Rose already regretting his decision.
I'm regretting my decisions, and definitely for the next thing,
which is Elemental Strike. I can basically choose the elements Acid, Cold, Fire, Lightning, or Thunder for my unarmored strikes. And let's see. Wait, was this with a focus point or not? No, I can just do that all willy-nilly. Yeah, I can just punch them with a very cold fist.
Yeah. And I mean, it's also the thing of, you have the ability, if you do it with one of these, to have the creature make a saving throw, or just push them away for 10 feet.
Yep. And they'll just be thrown back out of my range. 10 feet is out of your range, right, then?
10 feet is out of your range, which means you can walk around without opportunity attacks. Yeah.
Yep. Easy disengage. Let's go. I mean, I already had an easy disengage, but...
I'm hunting you down.
And I'll be dashing and dodging away.
I notice it, yes. And what is the last thing that you can do with the Warrior of the Elements?
That is the spell Elementalism, which basically I can, again, do avatar moves. I can make the wind flow around me. I can shroud myself in a cover of dust, beckon fire, move around water, and also sculpt elements, which also kind of goes nicely with his masonry background.
Yeah, exactly.
His sculpting, masonry. So basically, when he wants to do a dramatic entrance, he'll just summon some wind, make his hair flow, make his
nice
beard
clothing.
flow in the wind as well. Nice clothing. Yes.
Oh god. Oh, it's gonna be really.
He'll make
cool.
the most dramatic entrances.
If any artists ever listen to this, you know what to do. You know what to do.
Oh. Yeah, he's a dramatic dwarf like that.
He's dramatic, but he's also just really good at everything, which is terrifying.
That's called experience.
It is called experience. Because what is your background?
My background is artisan, and that means that I am good at my craft here, masonry. Go figure.
You got a good build for a character, and I'm already regretting every single decision that I've ever made for this entire campaign. And I haven't even done anything yet.
Oh yeah, these things were intentionally chosen to make your life difficult, Ro.
Yep, definitely. Well, I'm very curious to see what Pierre's gonna do in the show. And we will see you in the first ever episodes of The Protectors.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rick, for being here and explaining Pierre to us.
I love to be here. Hope to see you guys in the actual episodes.
See you guys then.
See ya.
Bye-bye. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Remains to be Seen. Today, I'm here with...
Me, Mike LeBeau. Hello. How
Hi,
you doing?
Mike. Hello. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Nice. I'm also doing good. I'm glad to hear it. So, tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, I've been a voice actor for a number of years now. In fact, about 10 years thinking about it, which is kind of wild to think about. I've been in a series of different podcasts over the course of my career, like the Magnus Archives, Soul Operator, the Sheridan Tapes, the Town Whispers. I've recently been in a Star Trek spin-off podcast, and there's a couple of other ones which are upcoming, like Welcome to the Brass Eagle. And yeah, like I've been really, really enjoying voice acting. So when I got the call for working with Dyaflame, I literally jumped on it. I was like, let's go. So yeah, I'm excited to be here and get started.
Well, we're very, very excited to have you on board. So, tell us a bit about your character that you're going to be playing.
I'm playing an Aarakocra called Coldtrast, who is from Sweden. He's a ranger, and I think that he's going to fit into this party quite nicely, because he has a lot of cool skills, and he's got 2 guns, ebony and ivory, shotgun and revolver. So it's going to be pretty sweet. I'm very much looking forward to this.
This is totally not a scary thing that we're going to have someone with and talons and 2 guns and wings.
Yeah. Can
you describe what your character looks like for us?
Yes. So, I did a little bit of research into my character because I wanted to like sort of feel out who I wanted them to be. And honestly, I pulled it together backwards. I rolled all of the stats. I did all of the like the groundwork and the mechanics and all that kind of stuff. And then I started to think a little bit more about like what I wanted his style to be, who I wanted him to be, what I wanted to bring into this role. And so his look is actually a blackbird, which, for your Swedish listeners, they will probably be already criticizing my pronunciation of Coldtrast, because Coldtrast in Swedish is blackbird. So he's got black plumage with a little bit of coppery sort of flecks in the sunlight. He's got a big sort of orangey yellow beak. He's got dark black eyes with little orangey yellow surrounds, and little orangey yellow feet. But other than that, is honestly, for the look of him, quite unremarkable, apart from the fact that he's a bird person.
I mean, that's fine. We'll probably see way more of them in the show anyway. But if there's indeed any Swedish listeners who want to tell us how to pronounce Coldtrast better, please let us know. please let us know.
Yeah, please. Please. I don't want to get cancelled, man.
Please.
Please.
Please, man. So what we do here is that we start with an improv question. And instead of making improv questions that are like, oh, what is your character's favorite breakfast? It is not going to be that. Contrast. Do you really believe that you are the hunter and not the hunted?
Well, it's been a while since I was hunted. A long while, actually. I've never really found myself at home anywhere, but if I was hunted, they'd know about me, and I'd know about them. They wouldn't see me coming.
Amazing. Oh, I'm so gonna work with that. That's gonna be great. Oh,
Yay.
All right. Let's go a bit into the character sheet and how that all works.
All right.
Because you are playing Aarakocra.
Yeah, man.
And Aarakocra is not in the player's handbooks. So most people will have to look up what it is, how it works. So can you run us a bit through for like the things that you get when you play an Aarakocra? Because we know you get flight, you get talons. What are the things that you get from that?
Well, to be honest with you, they are the main things that an Aarakocra kind of gives you. So you get flight, which means that you have a flying speed which is equal to your standard movement. So I have a flying speed of 30 feet and a walking speed of 30 feet, which is quite average. I also get, the languages as well that comes with it, because obviously I can speak Aarakocran as well as Common English. And I believe that being an Aarakocra also gives me the Wind Caller feat, which means that I can cast Gust of Wind without requiring any material components. So basically you flap your wings and you cast Gust of Wind as if it were the spell.
Yeah.
Which is pretty fun. And I'm intending to use that to full efficacy, I'll tell you that for free.
I already regret everything about this. This is... I'm going
Hey
to
man,
kill your
I
character
asked you
anyway.
like 5 times, and this is true. I asked you
I
like
know.
5 times if you were okay for me to play an Aarakocra, and then I told you about what you get for being an Aarakocra, and you were like, oh, I hate this, and I was like, are you sure you want me to be an Aarakocra? And you were like, yes, yes.
It's cool. Am I gonna hate it during combat? Abso-fucking-lutely.
Ro is a professional improviser and just said yes to everything I threw at him.
Yep. Basically that. That's exactly what happened. So, if we look at your character sheet, what are your ability scores? And your modifiers for that.
Well, shall I be honest with the audience and tell them how badly I rolled in the first time that we rolled
so
this?
badly.
Am I allowed to be honest? Because it was
Yes,
it
you
was
are allowed
awful.
to be very honest.
It was so bad. Like to the point where Ro actually genuinely looked me straight in the eyes and just went, roll it again. And I was like, okay. Yeah. And we rolled it again.
It was like 2 9s and 2 11s and a 12 and a 13 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think you are right. I think it was 2 9s, a 12, and a 13, which would have gotten me nowhere.
Yeah, it really went just like, no, please, for the sake of yourself. You will have a really cool character. Do not give him shitty ability scores, basically.
Well, and this is a permadeath campaign. So, like, if my character dies, that's it. So, in fairness to Ro, we didn't fudge the rolls, but certainly you let me re-roll my base character stats so that I'd at least stand a chance at surviving past episode 1.
I let you re-roll at least like 2, because I did that with some other people as well, because at some point it's just like nothing at some point was balanced. I had someone roll literally 4 11s.
Wow.
In the entire thing, and I was like,
4
okay.
11s? What are the odds? Someone out there, please tell me what the odds of rolling 4 11s on 5 dice are.
I do not know where this is going to be in the recording. However, if you have listened to Elizabeth's Session 0, she has quite high ability scores. This is because, and I think we explained it in there, this is because we at some point all rolled for her instead of her herself, because she was the one that kept rolling 11s.
Oh my god, really?
So she now has like really high character stats and then wisdom 10. So
well, my stats are not as good as that, but like certainly I think I got a much more balanced deal out of this. So my stats are strength 12, dexterity 16, constitution 14, intelligence 8, wisdom 14, and riz 13. So that gives me a nice tidy sort of spread across the board. I get a +1 in strength, a +3 in dex, a +2 in constitution, -1 in intelligence, +2 in wisdom, and a +1 in charisma.
Amazing. That looks a bit nicer than what we had before.
What we had before was hot garbage. The hottest garbage. Yeah. It was such a garbage fire that it burned the entire studio down, and we rebuilt it from the ground up. That's how hot garbage my original rolls were.
If Mike had kept those ability rolls, he would not even have been, or Coltrus would not have been able to ever hold a gun.
No,
that would just
it would have never
possible.
happened. Like, everything, I would have been a bullet sponge. Like, the guns would have actually, like in that film, the bullets would have come back around out of the barrel of the gun and just, like, domed me. Like, I would have flatlined completely.
Yeah, absolutely. That is another one for the reference list that you're just going to have to explain at some point. This is wonderful. The list keeps going.
The hit film Wanted with Shia LaBeouf and Angelina Jolie.
That's a name I recognize. Yes, finally. But what are your proficiencies in your saving throws and your proficiency and your skills?
My saving throws and proficiencies. So I'm proficient in strength and dexterity. I thought that was pretty important because, as I mentioned earlier, my character's a ranger. And I get a +2 to my proficiencies, which is pretty nice. So that makes my dexterity saves quite tidy. And I'm really looking forward to that. But I'm also proficient in animal handling, perception, sleight of hand, stealth, and survival, which is something I think I get all of those because I'm a ranger.
Yeah, I think you got those plus the ones that are in your criminal background. Ooh, I spoilered that there.
You did spoiler that there. You did spoiler that. That was a big spoiler.
That was a big spoiler. Shall we get into that then before we go into the class? I don't know for sure, but what background are you playing?
Oh, I'm playing as a criminal background, actually.
Oh!
Yeah.
Why did you choose for the criminal background? Is there some hints to the character backstory there?
There could be. I can neither confirm nor deny. Yes, it's because, like I said earlier, I did a lot of thinking about who I wanted my character to be. And when I was thinking about what kind of a person they are, and I started writing up my backstory and was sort of crafting a narrative, I thought that the criminal background really fit nice. And so I thought I would... There's a few little bits in there that you might be able to figure out as the podcast is going on, but I'm certainly not going to tell you right now, listener. You're going to have to listen to the entire thing to work out what I am and what I'm doing. Because there is a what I am, and there is a what I'm doing. And there's also a what I've done.
Oh. No, that's going to be really exciting. So, let's go through the ranger stuff for a bit. Because, what are the main stuff that you get for being a ranger from, like, level 1 to level 3?
Well, it's actually pretty neat. This is, to be clear, this is actually my first time ever playing a ranger. Like, I've had friends who have played rangers in D&D campaigns that I've been in, and I think they're a really cool character class. And I picked it partly because of my backstory and partly because I thought it would be a nice addition to the team. So this is very much me trying it out for the first time. So as a ranger, I get proficiencies in simple and martial weapons. I get proficiency in light and medium armor. I also get proficiency with shields. I believe that comes from I believe that comes from my ranger thing. And also, my subclass, which you're allowed to pick, I think at level 3, you get a subclass. Yep. And I picked the subclass Hunter. And with that, I believe I got an additional feat. So for my feats, as a standard, as a ranger, as standard, you get to pick your fighting style, which is your first feat. So I picked 2-weapon fighting. As aforementioned, my ranger has 2 weapons, and I intend to max pain jump all over the flipping place, baby! And so when I make an attack, I can actually make an extra attack with another weapon that has the light property. And we looked this up, and apparently the weapons that I'm using both have the light property, because the shotgun is sawn off. And so that's pretty cool. And also I get another feat, like I say, with my hunter specialism. So I picked Alert, which means that I have initiative proficiency. When I roll initiative, I can add a proficiency bonus to the roll. So basically it gives me a +2 extra on my initiative rolls, which is pretty fun. But it doesn't end there. It doesn't stop there, dear listener, because I also have initiative swap, which means that immediately after I roll initiative, I can actually swap my initiative with any other initiative of one willing ally in the same combat. But I can't do it if they have the incapacitated condition. But none of us will be incapped, right? Right? None of us are going to be incapacitated in this campaign, so that will never come up, right?
No.
That's just subtext. Not. That's just written at the bottom. That's like the small print, right? I don't need to pay attention to that ever.
No, not at all. Never.
No, not at all.
Never in your life. No.
Yeah, great. Thanks.
No.
So you don't need to know that, really. Good luck to you. Also, for being a hunter, I do actually get some spell slots. So I have 3 level 1 spell slots, which actually I was quite fascinated by. So I decided to pick like a broad spectrum of spells. I also get some because I am a hunter. So the ones that I picked were Alarm, Ensnaring Strike, and Speak with Animals. I think those are the ones I picked. But I also get Hunter's Mark as well because of my subclass.
Not because of your subclass. I think that's literally just because of the class. Because you have Favored Enemy, which means you have Hunter's Mark prepared.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And you can cast it twice without expending a spell slot.
Yes, yeah. So I get to use it twice per combat per short rest, right?
Long rest.
Long rest, okay. So yeah, I get Hunter's Mark that I can use twice per long rest.
Yeah. So that's really, really nice, because as a hunter, you definitely want to be able to use your Hunter's Mark. Also because Hunter's Mark is a bonus action and not an action, which means you can first cast Hunter's Mark, and then you can just, I don't know, shoot with your gun, and then do extra damage.
I can.
Which is wonderful.
I can take people off the field very effectively.
Also totally not, because your guns do an insane amount of damage.
Well, it's not that bad. It's not that... Should we go on and talk about the weapons then?
Yeah, go for it.
So my shotgun gets a +5 attack bonus, as does my revolver. Both of them deal piercing damage. The shotgun, if it hits, it lands 2d8 +3, and then I have to reload after 2 shots because it's a double barrel.
Yep.
And the revolver, I do 2d8 +3, but I reload after 6 shots because it's a standard Smith & Wesson, or maybe a Colt, not 1911, a Colt Python, or something like that. I haven't quite decided on the model, so if you guys want to have an input, you can tell me what revolver I have. That'll be quite fun. But also, in addition to that, I have talons because I'm an Aarakocra, and so I'm able to attack as a standard action for 1d6 +3 damage.
I can already see that during a fight, you will take someone with the talons up into the air and drop them with the Wilhelm scream.
Oh, Ro, you know. you know I will.
I am prepared. I am not, but I am mentally prepared.
Oh, but it doesn't stop there, dear listener, because there's even more that my guns are able to do. My revolver actually has the sap ability, which means if I hit a creature with my revolver, that creature then has disadvantaged on its next attack roll before the start of my next turn. And the shotgun has push, which means that if I hit a creature with the shotgun, I can push that creature up to 10 feet straight away from where I shot it from, all the way up to a large creature.
This is because of the weapon masteries. Like, you have 2 mastery properties of 2 kinds of weapons of your choice. So, yeah, with sap and push, you can do a lot of things.
Ro, would you like to give the listener who may not be initiated in Dungeons & Dragons lore an example of what a large creature would be?
A medium creature, if you're looking on like a map on a battlefield, is 1 square, and a large creature is 4 squares. So the space on the battlefield in feet would take up 5 by 5 for like medium and small creatures, and then a large creature is 10 by 10.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So for being a hunter, you get Hunter's Lore, which basically, if a creature is marked by Hunter's Mark, you can know if they have any immunities, resistances, vulnerabilities, and you can know exactly which ones they are. And you get Hunter's Prey, which means you can choose between Colossus Slayer and Hullbreaker. For Hunter's Prey, which ones are you starting with? Because technically you can use both Colossus Slayer and Hullbreaker, but which one are you starting with?
So I decided to take Hordebreaker because I think that's probably going to stand me in good stead based on the limited amount that I know about this campaign. So basically, every time I make a weapon attack, I can then make another attack with the same weapon against a different creature as long as it's within 5 feet of the original target and within range of me. So if I can see them and shoot them, and they're within 5 feet of the person that I was originally attacking, I can use the Hordebreaker ability to be able to just make another attack roll. But I think I can only do that once per short rest, or something like that.
Yeah, once you finish a short or long rest, you can replace the chosen option with another one, basically.
Oh, so I can do it multiple times? But I can change it after a short or long rest?
Yes, basically. So you can keep it as long as you want. During a short rest or a long rest, you can basically just choose, like, don't really want this anymore, taking the other one. So, when you are a ranger, you also get Deft Explorer at level 2. You get expertise in one of your skill proficiencies and 2 extra languages. Now, for expertise, which one of your skill proficiencies is now an expertise, basically?
I decided to put it into perception, so I can perceive everything. I have a +6 on my perception rolls, which is honestly, I think, going to be a bit of a lifesaver.
Yeah. I think that was everything when it comes to the ranger stuff. So what is currently your armor class and your hit points?
So, because, like I said earlier, because I'm proficient in light and medium armor, I had a choice to make. Because, as an Aarakocra, I can fly, but I can't fly while wearing anything more than light armor. So, because of that, I decided to wear light armor. I believe at the moment I'm wearing a studded leather armor, which is a light armor. So my AC isn't as high as you might think. It's only 15. But that means that for what I lose in armor class, I'm going to gain in mobility.
Yeah, that's very nice. And your hit points?
My hit points at the moment are a slightly worrying 28, which isn't as bad as it could be, but at the same time, it doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence.
It is basically kind of the average what you get, which +2 Constitution and a D10. I think everyone's kind of around between 24 and 30 somewhere. So this is fine. You'll be fine.
yeah, maybe, who knows.
I think that was actually it.
Wow, that's it?
Yeah. So I thank you very, very much for being here, for doing the session 0 with us.
Thank you.
And we will see you in the first episode of the Protectors group.
Yeah, man, I will see you in episode 1.
Yeah. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye, audience.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Remains to be Seen. Today, we are here with...
Hi, I'm Alyssa. I'm one of the protectors, and I'll be protecting you, or whatever.
Amazing. Alyssa, tell us a bit about yourself.
So I am I'd say, like, relatively intermediate D&D player and, like, kind of beginner voice actor, but I really love just every aspect. I just like the role-playing part, just making silly characters, forming silly bonds, and also silly when the silliness gets really deep all out of nowhere and everyone just starts crying. The sad part's also, for the character, it's awful, but for me, I'm like, yeah, like, we're gonna get, because from what I've heard about Ro and what I've heard from everyone else who has played with Ro is that there's gonna be some, like, really emotional moments, and I'm ready to cry and I'm ready to laugh. I don't know.
I tend to absolutely traumatize my characters with their own backstory, but also horror.
I love that.
So it's going to be really good.
Yeah, and I also love horror. I do a lot of horror podcast stuff too. Listen to Nightmares Unleashed. I produce season 2. Gotta do a shameless plug. If you're saying introduce yourself, say something about you, you shamelessly
Absolutely.
plug. Like,
go for it.
Without shame. But yeah, throwing that in there. But anyway.
So tell us a bit about the character that you will be playing for the show.
So I will be playing Yitri Metal Twirls. She is a barbarian spring Eladrin, and she has a barbarian subclass. Hold on, I remember what it is. It's a Path of the World Tree barbarian, and she is a very bubbly, very sweet kind of character. She is always trying to make friends with everyone. She's a bit of a party girl, but, like, when it comes time to have to do her job, she's doing her job. She's not much of a slacker, even though it kind of looks like it. She's doing her job. And she also, one very fun fact about her, as I was designing her, I was like, I have a genius idea. Her weapons are named. She has names for her weapons. So she has a giant great axe named Betty. Also, she's like 4'10", by the way. The axe is a lot bigger than her. And she has a hand crossbow named Cece. And CC for crossbow, like, but yeah, she's kind of like, you look at her, you're not going to assume barbarian, but, you don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, because what if you look at Yitri, what do you see? What are the description of your character?
Okay, so you see I said before, she is 4'10", so she's relatively short. So she's like 100. Yeah, she's 121 centimeters. She has like a kind of like a lime greenish skin with strawberry blonde hair, really curly up in a bun, but there's a curl like in the front of her face and like framing her face like a little loose. She has a few flowers and like kind of holding her bun in place. She wears a very bit of a poofy dress that has a longer train in the back and shorter in the front, but it's not like dragging on the floor because she's got to fight. So it's like goes right above her ankles, and the back and the front goes right above her thighs. She has armored boots. She has bracers and metal bracers, and she has 2 pauldrons that are like silver and goldish. She has her dress is like a kind of like periwinkle color with pink accents, and she has a like reddish leather kind of corset. And also on her axe, her axe is like a little like critter. It's not alive. It's like it might be alive. Who knows? A little stuffed animal named Snuggles. I accidentally made a Fey Boo Boo Because I was like, she should have a little guy. She should have a little guy and a little keychain on the axe. And then I was like drawing it. I'm like, that's just like a Faye LaBoo. So
now I have to make it now canon since it's on record that Faye Boo Boos are a thing. Faye Boo Boo is
You're welcome.
canon.
You're welcome. You can't see me, but I'm doing a heart with my hands. You're welcome.
Oh god.
And yeah, so that's what you see. And her most defining feature, she has really cute sunglasses. They're like kind of on the smaller side. Like they're little circles. They're golden, and they have like the arms of the glasses are like swirls, and they are like a purple and pink kind of sunglass. And they're just very cute. She's just very, very girly pop, very cutesy, and ready to fuck you up, pretty much. Yeah.
Nice. She's a badass girl. Got it.
She is. Can't wait for her you guys see her in action, because she's going to be pretty fun.
It sounds like she's going to be pretty fun also with the group that you are in.
Oh, God, yeah.
I think it's going to be great. How old is she?
Oh, she's 35, but she is on the younger end of because Spring Eladrin are basically like Fae elves, so they get to be pretty old. So she's like kind of a baby, but like not actually, like in Fae years and elf years and Eladrin years, just on the younger side. But
yeah,
you know. She's hasn't lived that long, but she's lived, I guess. I don't know.
She has indeed lived. But before we get to the elf stuff or the Eladrin stuff, I have a question for you. Do you really believe you can do this?
I mean, I'd like to say I can. I like to say I think I can do this, but no doubts. I can do this. I have faith in myself and faith in the people I'm with who, I mean, I haven't really met them yet, but I think that, like, they seem, I mean, if they're on the team, I feel like they have to, be able to hold their weight and stuff, and I'll be able to hold mine. And I think that, I got this. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Yitri.
Oh
my god, this is going to be amazing.
Yay.
So you are playing a Spring Eladrin. What is that, basically? Because it's not a species that is in the book, nor is it talked about much in D&D in general, from what I know. So can you explain that a bit to us?
So Eladrins are, the way that they've been described on, like, websites and online is that, like, it's a cross, it's kind of like a Fae elf in a sense, like it's like the Fae version of an elf, and they are kind of it's kind of like how Genazis are. There's like the 4 elements of Genazis. Each Eladrin is different, like, seasons. So there's summer, fall, winter, and spring. I chose spring because that's just, and also they have like certain like characteristics and stuff like that, and different like each Eladrin, they kind of does a different thing for each season. I know in some things like Eladrin, like, they change seasons with the seasons, I think, right? I think that's a thing, but I just feel like that's I don't know, but I think either that or you pick, but I picked spring. And yeah, they are very fun. They have the lifespan of an elf, and they have a lot of qualities of a fae. So yeah, that's basically, it's like the lifespan of an elf, everything else of a fae. And a cool thing that Spring Eladrin have is, well, all Eladrin have Fae Step. Also, I will pronounce it consistently at some point, but today's not that day. But so Fae Step is basically a mechanic where you can teleport 30 feet. And so with the spring version, you can, if you touch within like 5 feet, you can teleport that instead. So if, let's say let's say someone's like looking pretty bad in the front lines, can just be like, okay, touch you, you're going back over there and you're getting healed, like stuff like that. Or just like, hey, enemy in front of me, you're gonna go farther away from me because I don't want to deal with you.
That is super smart.
Yeah, I think that would be really funny. Just like a constant loop of just like the enemy finally getting closer and just being faced up back again. And just keeps trying to run back.
It's a very, very smart idea, honestly.
Yeah.
That is probably going to annoy the living daylight out of me.
Oh God, yeah. I didn't even like realize that because I was trying to think of examples. Because the thing I was gonna say is like, let's say if two people are arguing and you're annoyed with it, just teleport the other person away. But I'm like, no, let's go with like actual game and like the healing thing. And then I'm like, wait, it'd be really funny to teleport enemies away from you. And just
it's really smart.
Yeah, but don't worry, I won't do it too much.
No, I don't trust that, but it'll be fun.
Here's the thing, I might forget about it. I might forget I could do that because I played a paladin once, and the amount of times I've forgotten all the cool things paladins can do, and then my DM was like, wait, you know you can do this, right? I'm like, what?
Fun little Dyaflame lore. We played, before we created this, we played a bard campaign with just bards, and like 90% of them forgot that they had bardic inspiration.
That's like the main thing bards have. That's really funny. I know. No, I'm laughing, but I know if I was in that, I would do the exact same thing.
What else can you do as a Spring Eladrin?
What else can I do? Let's see.
Or just an Eladrin.
I have Fey ancestry, so that gives me advantage on saving throws against being charmed. You're not good at charming me. So also as a Path of the World Tree barbarian, I have the vitality of the tree as a skill, I think. Let me actually see what that does, because I didn't write it down, but I did write down what I do. I just like have like a separate, I need to find the separate document where I wrote down what everything does, because I don't want to handwrite
we can also
everything.
Yeah, we can also get through the that one after the Eladrin stuff.
Yeah.
And then we'll look through that, because I have the book open next to me as well. Because I think you also have dark vision?
Yes, I have dark vision. I have keen senses, so I have a proficiency in perception. And I have trance, so magic can't put me to sleep. And you can also go into like a trance-like meditation state instead of going to sleep for like 4 hours. So that will kind of that's what this is. Okay, so it says you can change your season in the trance, but like we're not doing that. That's I'm not changing her season.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, and they have I'm also looking at the flaws and personality traits. It's just at spring, every day is the greatest day of your life. You do everything with enthusiasm. You can't stay still. Flaw, you overdrink.
Wow.
That's the first flaw. Wow. I'm not even kidding. If you go on D&D 5e Wikidot, the first flaw is you overdrink. And then toil is for drudges, yours to be a life at leisure. Pretty face infatuates you in an instant, but a fancy passes away with equal speed. And then anything is worth doing again and again and again. So basically, Spring Eladrin just have ADHD is what I'm hearing from the from the description. Because I'm like, wait, why is this kind of matching me a little bit? I'm like, oh.
Oh, that's why.
That's what it is,
yeah,
ADHD.
exactly.
But yeah, so they have a bunch of some fun traits and fun advantages and stuff like that. And the disadvantages, there aren't many, which I think is great because I'm used to playing characters with a lot more disadvantages in combat and stuff. So glad that, I mean, technically, like there's a height disadvantage because the party tank is tiny, but she makes it work. She makes it work. I think she's definitely is she the shortest of the? No, she's not the shortest because I think we.
No, you are.
Oh, I am.
You are.
I am the shortest. Okay, yeah. So that's beautiful. I think that's a beautiful dynamic. That like oh yeah, who's this tiny little guy? It's like that's our tank.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I genuinely think it's a really fun dynamic.
Thank you. No, literally, that was my first thing. I'm like, I am going to make a tiny barbarian. Like, as soon as I was like, okay, it's time to make characters, I'm like, tiny barbarian. Because it's been something on my mind for a while, because I think it's fun. Or like,
yeah.
Bimbo Barbarian was the character. Like, before I fully fleshed her out, my like brain was like Bimbo Barbarian. Because I think that'd be really fun. And also just because I was thinking like gonna be overly like pink, like Barbie, like girly pop kind of thing, and I didn't lean too much into that, but at the same time, like the personality and stuff like that, like very much so. But
yeah,
she's gonna be fun. I think we're gonna all have a very fun time with her. Yeah,
absolutely. Because you are playing a barbarian. Can we go through what you basically get if you're playing a barbarian? Like for players who have never done anything in D&D before and want to play a barbarian for the first time.
Okay, so barbarians are very cool. This is also my first time playing a barbarian, which I've been wanting to for the longest time, and every time I would, the campaign would just never start. So I'm like, I need to play. It happened to me twice, and I'm like, I need to play barbarian.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like, okay, third time's the charm. So basically, you can get weapon mastery, you can get rage, which is the biggest thing with barbarians.
Yeah. How does rage work?
So rage, what that does is you get advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws. When you make a melee attack, you gain a bonus to that attack roll that increases as you gain levels, and you have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. So essentially, you go into a like primal rage, and it makes you like so much stronger and not invincible. You're invincible you have a resistance to like bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage.
Yeah.
That's also like if you're going against some melee kind of character, you're good.
Yeah.
So it's a bonus action too. So you don't have to waste an entire action to go into rage. So you just go into rage and you have extra dice to your weapon attacks, and you also get the advantage on the strength checks and strength saving throws. So it's a very fun thing to do, and it's kind of like, I imagine it as like a Hulk kind of situation where if you're a fan of Marvel, it's just hulking out pretty much.
Yes, very much.
And it's a concentration. So if you are a spellcaster, you can't do anything with it. But I'm not a spellcaster, so we're not going to have to worry about that. Unless I become a spellcaster. Who knows? This is very early on. Anything's on the table. And, like, I'm very much like, everything's out there. You also get danger sense, so you can get an uncanny sense of when things are like, it's kind of like a spidey sense in a way, and then you have advantage on dexterity saving throws with things like this, and you kind of I feel like I'm comparing so much of barbarian skills to Marvel characters.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, definitely, the barbarian is very much, if you want to think of a character, you think of Hulk.
Yeah. I think of a character, think of Hulk, and because that is like very much barbarian, and it's good to wear armor as a barbarian. Please wear armor, but if you're not, you can, instead of adding just your con modifier to your AC, you also add your dex modifier, so you get more. So you just have base higher armor, higher AC, and you can do that with also a shield, but wear armor. This is my advice. I one time played a character that I forgot to give armor because I made a really cool outfit. I designed the character to have a cool outfit. Artificer did not have armor.
Oh, buddy.
Forgot. And then was in combat. And then my friend's like, why is he going down so fast? I'm like, I forgot something important.
Don't forget your armor, kids.
Don't forget your armor, kids, because you are more vulnerable without it. This is a good ad for an armor company.
Definitely. You also still get reckless attack and primal knowledge.
Yes, I forgot. I literally just read over reckless attack. So you make your first attack. You can attack recklessly, which gives you advantage on attack rolls for melee. and but attack rolls against you has disadvantage until the next turn. So you are basically not focusing on defense. The character is not focusing on defense, but all on offense. So you are more vulnerable, but you are a lot stronger when you attack. So it's very fun. And then in Primal Knowledge is you gain 1 proficiency and 1 skill of your choice available to barbarians at level 1. So you can, this is at 3rd and 10th level. You can just boost up your stats a little bit.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we're starting at level 3. We don't need to worry about all that. So everything past that, don't worry about. All we need to worry about is unarmored defense, danger sense, reckless attack, and primal path. And rage. Rage, very important. Rage is very fun. I've been super excited to use rage as a character because big damage is fun.
I can't wait to hear the first I would like to rage in this show. It's going to be very good. So you are your subclass is Path of the World Tree. Mm-hmm. So walk us a bit through how that works.
So Path of the World Tree is a new addition to D&D 5e 2024. So it is not something that is like in a lot of it's not in prior D&D things. So you get so your rage basically comes from the World Tree, which is a giant tree. And so you get Vitality Surge, which you gain temporary hit points equal to your barbarian level. So while you're raging, you get temporary HP, and you also have Life-Giving Force, which at the start of each of your rage turns, you can choose another creature within 10 feet of yourself to gain temporary hit points. So this is a number of d6s equal to your rage damage bonus, and add them together. And as soon as the rage ends, the extra HP is gone. So this is kind of not a support kind of barbarian, but like a little bit like you can help other people as well, which I think is very fun, which also is really cool with the phase step as well, the spring phase step. A lot of things like, okay, you can do it with yourself, but you also can just do it to another person, which is very fun. And there's a lot of other stuff. There's a lot of fun stuff, but level 3 is what we're at right now. And as the character levels up, you will see what Path of the World Tree does more, and it's a really cool subclass. I remember I was gonna go with just Berserker, like the regular one, but then I was like, have you seen the 2024 ones? And I'm like, I have not. And then I looked through, I'm like, we're doing Path of the World Tree. Like, that's gonna be, World Tree is really good. It's really fun. And it's also like a newer one, so I think it's cool to have it on the podcast so like people can listen and they're like, oh wow, like, I didn't know about the 2024 edition, because I know a lot of people had complaints about the 2024 edition, but there's a lot of cool stuff in it. And more barbarian subclasses.
In 5e, you basically get 2 subclass options, and in 2024, you have 4 of them. And a lot of kind of like smaller details have been changed for the better, in my opinion. So yeah.
Yeah, so we're mostly running 2024 5e because it's the little things that we are like fine tuning and stuff like that, and it is like I think people over exaggerated how much change there was because it just added things. I mean, at least in my case for barbarian, but yeah. So it's a very fun subclass, and I can't wait to see more people play it. And I also can't wait to play it because it's going to be so fun.
I'm very excited to see it. So, run us through your ability scores, your modifiers.
Let's see. We got a plus. So I have a +2 to proficiency. My proficiency bonus is 2. I got +3 to strength, +1 to dexterity, +2 to constitution. In true barbarian fashion, we got 0 intelligence and -1 wisdom. And we have a +1 to charisma. I was thinking at some point, I'm like, what if I make the dumb stats like not intelligence and wisdom? I'm like, nah. She has to be a little bit charismatic. Like, I know I can't do that. But yeah, so she also has proficiency in animal handling, athletics, investigation, nature, perception, and persuasion.
Nice. And saving throws?
saving throws, she has a +5 to strength, +1 to dex, +4 to con, 0 to intelligence, -1 to wisdom, and 1 to charisma.
Yeah, so her proficiencies are in constitution and strength, basically.
Yes.
Nice.
So she's a tanky one.
Yeah.
And she also has the feat of crafter. She has a crafter feat. We have a passive perception of 9. So
Oh buddy. Oh buddy.
So that's going to be fun for you. It's going to not be fun for me. I'm not going to see anything.
Oh, it's going to be very, very interesting. And if we look at your background, what is the background that you have chosen?
I have an artisan background. She comes from a family of glassblowers, and so she has a lot of glassblowing experience and can, with her crafter feat, can make things out of glass, and maybe some other little things. Just a little tinker in a way.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's gonna be fun to use. I don't think we have any like people who use potions, but if we ever get a potion and we need a cool new bottle for it, I can just whip that up real quick. Like,
you are just like, if you go to a potion store, you will just be like, no, I actually just want the potion. I have the glass.
I just want the liquid.
Yeah, exactly.
Just give me the liquid. She's like, what do you mean? Like, just give me the liquid, and I want a discount because I just give you the liquid.
The price reducted for the bottle because I have the bottle. Just pour it in here. Amazing. And last but not least, your armor class and your hit points. What are those?
I have an armor class of 17, and I think I did the HP correctly. I have an HP of 29, so for level 3, that's pretty good.
That's really good.
Yeah, so she's a tanky one, which is very fun. I think playing tank characters are very fun. As much as I love playing a support and damage dealer, I like playing. There's fun things to all of them, but
absolutely.
When we were talking about characters, I'm like, this party, like, even before, I already had Yitri in my head. Well, she wasn't named yet, but I had that kind of character in my head, and then I was seeing the rest of the protectors. I'm like, oh, these people need a tank. These people need a tank, and I'm willing. I was already going to do it anyway. So, like, this is perfect. Like, I was already going to do it. I would have found a way to, if we had, like, if it was an all tank party, I would have tried to figure it. You would have I feel like that's because if people do, like, all bards, all supports, I'm like, well, what about all tanks?
Yeah.
Like, what? No one will die. It'll just take way too long. Oops, all tanks.
Do understand that if you would ever do all tanks, I will throw a dragon at you.
That's fair. That's fair. I would expect nothing less.
So I think that is everything that we have for Yitri. Thank you so much, Alyssa, for explaining her to us.
Yay! I hope that it was comprehensible.
Definitely.
But yeah, no, I'm very excited to play her. I'm very excited for you guys to listen and hear her and experience her, I guess. I don't know. That sounds weird. But can't wait for you guys to meet her. That's the word I was looking for. Can't wait for you guys to meet her. She's going to be very fun. And, I'm just very excited.
All right. We'll see you in the first Protector episode.
See you in the first Protector episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Remains to Be Seen. Today, I am here with
Zoe. Hello.
Hello, Zoe. How you doing?
Hi. I'm doing good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good too. So, tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, as I said, my name's Zoe. I am 22 years old, and I have recently graduated with a design degree. And currently I am figuring stuff out, and now I give tours in my local stadium.
Oh, sick! Look at you go.
Yes.
So, tell us a bit about the character that you are playing in the show.
Yes, so I am playing the character Alexander Ainsworth. Most of you, for most of the time, will just know him as Alex. And he is a half-elf bard with the College of Dance. He is currently not playing that much music for reasons you will have to figure out for yourselves. But I am still very excited to play him. He's quite the dramatic character, and I do very much enjoy playing these. So,
as a bard normally is,
yes,
obviously.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, amazing. It's very fun to play a bard, as some of you may have known. Me and Jo played in a full bard campaign before we actually did this.
That is so fun.
We totally forgot about bardic inspiration. Maybe you won't. Who knows?
The last times I've played a bard, I have spammed that spell, so I doubt I will forget about it.
Amazing. All right. So, let's do a bit of an improv question, as I've done with the others as well. I am not nice.
I'm so scared.
You are so scared. We've known each other before this. I'm so sorry for not being nice with nice questions.
No,
but
that's fine. I expected the trauma before the campaign starts, and I am expecting you to deliver, so...
Perfect. So, Alexander Ainsworth, why do you think you still matter to them?
I'm not sure I do. I have done a lot to hurt the people that I love, and I don't think I deserve that I still matter to them, but it's all I can do to hope.
Nice. Oh, interesting. Oh, I'm very curious where this is going to lead. And who the hell them is, you'll have to find out for yourself. It all remains to be seen. It all remains to be seen.
Title drop!
Title drop! So, you are playing a half-elf.
Yes.
So can you run us a bit through the things you get for being a half-elf?
So, let me see. I have so much written down. Okay, we're scrolling past the spells. So, I have dark vision, and I cannot wait to tell you when you tell us that somewhere is dark. I will scream. I have Fey ancestry, and I have half-elf versatility. So many difficult words in here.
Because Fey ancestry is basically you have advantage on saving throws against charm?
Being charmed, yes. And I also cannot be put to sleep via magic. I'm sure you're going to find other ways if you need them, and I'm scared that you will. So, that's fun.
Maybe. So, for the half-elf versatility, which one did you choose?
I chose the skill versatility.
Ooh. So that you just gain proficiency in 2 extra skills?
Exactly.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice, very good. Because next to that you are playing a bard.
Yes.
So can you run us through what the things are that a bard does from like level 1 to level 3?
Right, so basically, a bard is a support role most of the time. You can do a lot more with it, but I also like to play a support bard. Means I have some low-level healing spells, but also something like some other really fun stuff. I'm sure we're gonna get to later. But as a bard, I am a performer. What that means, for me, it's an instrument most of the time, and for a lot of people, it's also instruments. But basically, performing can be any sort of art. It could be an instrument, it could be dancing, it could be acting, all that fun stuff. So really creative characters, mostly with really high charisma. They're often the characters that talk you out of situations or maybe into situations, depending on how you play them. Yeah.
And so what we talked about earlier, Bardic Inspiration. Can you explain to us what Bardic Inspiration is?
So, Bardic Inspiration is a fun little bonus action that I can do, which basically grants a creature that I cast it on. It's not really a spell, but I'm just going to say cast it on, to gain an extra d6 on the rolls that use a d20, like attack rolls or proficiency rolls. And when they use it, they can just add it if they want to, and after that it's gone, and I can use it again on someone else.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think you have like a number, an equal amount of times that you can use it with like your charisma bonus.
Yeah.
So that is, I think, for you quite a lot. Let me immediately ask that. What are your ability scores in general?
Well, if you ask me like that, we can just immediately start with charisma. My charisma is currently 19, which gives me a bonus of 4. So that's 4 times that I can use Bardic Inspiration. Then I have a 14 on Wisdom with a modifier of 2, a 16 on Intelligence with a modifier of 3, for once I'm actually playing a smart character. Very, very excited for that. Normally, my intelligence stats are not that high. Then I've got a 14 on Constitution, again with a modifier of 2, a 16 on Dexterity with 3, and then an 11 on Strength, which gives me absolutely nothing. But at least it's not a minus, so I'm happy with that.
Amazing. Yeah, because next to Bardic Inspiration, you also get expertise and stuff, which is pretty insane because not a lot of characters get expertise in their skills. Because what are the proficiencies that you have in your skills in general?
So I have quite a few. I have 7 in total.
Ooh.
And those are Acrobatics, Arcana, Insight, Perception, Performance, Persuasion, and Religion. Most of these have a +5, and Performance and Persuasion, I'd have a +8.
Yeah, probably because they are then the expertise. Which is basically, to explain it, expertise is basically double your proficiency bonus on something that you already had proficiency up.
Yes.
So yeah, that's really good. And I think with some other ability called Jack of all trades,
yes,
that's also very interesting.
Yes. So Jack of all trades, I was really excited when you told me that I get that one because I didn't know that existed. It basically gives me a +1 on all skills that are non-proficient. So I have a plus on every single skill that there is. There is no 0, there is no minus, there is at least a +1. I never had that before.
Yeah, it's genuinely really good because it's basically half of your proficiency bonus rounded down that you just get added to everything that you don't have proficiency for, which is amazing.
It is.
And then you are playing a College of Dance, I think you said.
Yes, that's correct.
Tell us a bit about that.
I had a lot of fun to look into the College of Dance. It's quite new in comparison to the other Bard colleges, and it focuses, kind of as it says, a lot about dancing and dodging, kind of. So I've got some fun things about that. I've got a thing that's called Dazzling Footwork, which basically means if I have no armor and no shield, and I do performance that involves dancing, I have a base armor class of 17. So that is really high, and that's good.
I think you just have that in general.
Maybe even, yeah.
Yeah, I think you do.
I'm really excited about that. That makes it even better. But I'm really excited about that because I put a lot of effort into the character design, and it does not involve armor. So I'm glad I don't have to cover that up and still have a high armor class.
Because your armor class right now is
17.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I also can make an unarmed strike that I use Bardic Inspiration, and after that I can make an unarmed strike, which will be a 1d6 plus my dexterity bonus. So I don't really need the weapons, I can just hit people.
Wow, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think you also should have advantage on any, performance checks?
Maybe. I do not have that written down, but I will believe you.
You have a lot.
I'm just good like that. What should I say?
So advantage on charisma, on performance checks, base armor class of dexterity plus charisma plus 10, your agile strikes and your bardic damage, it's really good. Like the college dance is really interesting.
It is.
I think it'll be really fun to see what Alex will do with the college dance. I think it's going to be really interesting to see as like a type of bard in the game.
I think so too, yes. I'm really excited to play that. I've never played a bard with the College of Dance, so normally I've just been focusing on playing my music and supporting my friends. So
yeah,
I'm excited to see what damage I can do with that.
I can't wait to see that either. So, what is the background that you chose?
I chose the Acolyte background.
Interesting. So, tell us a bit about that.
It basically means that my character grew up in a very religious environment, which, for example, you can see because I get proficiency in insight and also religion.
Nice. And is there a specific god that your family followed or you follow?
Yes, so my character is following the god Apollo, and so is basically his entire family. He grew up with being a devotee of Apollo, and it's kind of all he knows.
Interesting. Ooh, I can't wait to see how that will come up.
I'm scared to see how that will come up.
I'm very curious.
Mm-hmm.
So, your hit points. How many hit points do you have right now?
I have 24.
Pretty nice.
Yeah. Sure.
Pretty nice for level 3. For level 3, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like
I just hope. Yeah, I don't trust you. So
now that is a you problem.
I know. I'm aware. But I am scared that my character will just die in like session 1 or something. I know it makes sense for me to have 24 hit points, but I don't trust those 24 hit points.
No, you'll be fine.
You don't sound very convincing.
Oh, I know. Let's go a bit into like the spells, because a bard is also a spellcaster. What is the spellcasting ability and your spell save DC and stuff?
So the spellcasting ability is Charisma with a spell save DC of 14, and I have a +6 on my spell attack bonus.
Nice. And the spells that you have chosen?
So I might need some help with that, because you told me to get a spell that I was really into and I still cannot pronounce it.
Oh, that's okay.
So I currently have 2 cantrips. One of those is Vicious Mockery, which is basically a verbal attack on someone. Mm-hmm. And you just insult them so much, it hurts them.
Amazing.
So I'm very excited for that. The other one, and I'm gonna embarrass myself here, is President Help.
Mm-hmm. Do it again. No, you can do it.
It's the one with the P. I can't pronounce
you were doing it. You were doing it.
I was doing it halfway. Prestidigitation?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Which is basically a spell where you basically just get to do little magic stuff.
Yes.
And
a little bit of illusions.
Yeah. And I was very much like, I think you're gonna have fun with that.
Yes, I think so too.
And your level 1 and 2 spells? Which are the ones that you chose there?
I have 4 level 1 spells. I have Cure Wounds and Healing Word, just to get a bit of health into my party. Mm-hmm. I've got Speak with Animals. I have always found that one to be quite useful. And I also have Featherfall.
Smart.
For my level spell... my level 2 spell slot, I have Knock and Shatter. You did advise me to put in a spell that at least makes a bit of damage.
I think so.
Otherwise, I probably would have put another support spell instead of Shatter. But I also do know to listen to you. So,
oi! I'm taking my hands off of these characters for now.
Sure you are. Sure you are.
No, definitely if you have not played a character before, I'm very much always trying to help with what types of spells to put in there without telling you exactly what you have to choose.
Yes. And you were really helpful, like genuinely. I had no idea what I was doing there.
I'm glad I could help. So I think for Alex, that's... Oh no, I am a filthy liar.
How dare you?
What does your character look like?
That is such a big thing to miss.
I know! And I looked at it and I was like, wait a goddamn minute.
Wait a minute, we're not done.
So, tell us a bit about what your character looks like and their weapons and stuff.
Yes. So, I'm gonna start with the weapons, because that's a lot less and a bit easier. He has 2 daggers and a short bow. So
Nice.
Pretty standard stuff, but I'm still pretty happy with that. And for what he looks like, he is very tall, around 180 centimeters, or like 180 centimeters. That 180 centimeters would not be very tall. He's like the tall and lanky kind of type. He's a bit tan, dark brown hair, blue eyes. He's got very like fluffy hair, little braid in it as well. Lots of tattoos, as in they cover a lot of space, not in as there are a lot of tattoos. It's technically just 2 tattoos, but one of them is like really big. Yeah, he likes to wear blue, so his clothes are like a mix of blues and browns. And one of my favorite things about the design, I'm really grateful that you approved that one, is he has a cloak, which mostly is also a dark blue fabric, but there is stained glass sewn into the fabric. And I love that cloak so much, and I was more than happy to live with the disadvantage on stealth checks that I get when we're out in the sun, because he turns into a disco ball. But it's a pretty disco ball, so I don't mind.
This entire group is definitely going to make a actual circus.
Yay! We're not playing your campaign. We're opening a traveling circus, and we're gone.
You are, definitely. I think that is it for what we need to know about Alex.
Nice.
So, thank you so much, Zoe. Thank you so much for your time and explaining to us a bit about your character.
Anytime, no problem.
And I'll see you in the first ever Protectors episode.
I'm so scared, but also very excited.
I will see you there. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Remains to be Seen is an original podcast created by Dyaflame Studios and licensed under the Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike 4.0 International License. Today's episode was produced by Breejen and Jo Mendacium, and it was edited by Jo Mendacium. It starred Breejen, LeBeau, Alyssa Roldan, Zoe Emily, and Rover Elliott as the host. The intro and outro were composed by We Talk of Dreams, and the transcript was written by Elizabeth Simpson. To get in touch with us and keep up to date with our antics, follow us on Instagram, Bluesky, and TikTok at Dyaflame Studios, or view our website at dyaflame.com. Check our show notes for additional credits, links, and transcripts.